Hi guys, it's Marissa here and I'm joined by Nani Johnston today, one of our amazing brokers at Rise High. And we're really excited to bring you another episode of Rise High Live. Today we are talking about life after separation, specifically after relationship separation, and really how to rebuild your life and rebuild your financial position post-separation. We know that it's a really sensitive topic and it is a topic that unfortunately a lot of people really need advice on, and we're hoping today to share a lot of tips and information that can help you navigate your way through a difficult time and ensure that you're building your life the way that you'd like to post-separation. Just before we get into the topic today, just a couple of updates on what's been going on in our world over the last month. We've had a lot of fun here at the new Rise High headquarters in our new office. We celebrated the launch of our new office with an office launch party, which was really fun and exciting. And thank you to all of the clients and supporters that came along to celebrate with us. It was a lot of fun, and it was a really great night. And also one of our mortgage brokers, James Schultz, also took out the award for South Australian Mortgage Broker of the Year at the Australian Finance Group Awards, which was awesome achievement. So we had a very successful night that night, with Rise High also being recognised as one of the top mortgage broking businesses in the state, which was fantastic. So we've had a lot of fun this month. It's been really good. Thank you to all of our supporters and clients who have helped us with all of those celebrations. But now we're going to get onto the topic. So just a few housekeeping things to start with. Due to the nature of the topic today, I'm going to leave all of the names of people who have asked the questions out, just because of protecting privacy. And we do have the ability for you to actually ask questions and interact with the discussion today via the comment section below. Or if you'd like them to be anonymous, then you can email them through to amanda@risehigh.com.au, and she'll filter through the questions to us without us having to mention your name. We'll also avoid shout outs today, just in the interest of privacy, but we do really respect and appreciate you tuning in today. So, Nani. Now, Nani's really taken a firm interest in helping newly single people, and so she's perfect for this Facebook Live topic, because she's had a lot of experience in dealing or in helping people navigate their way through post-separation and navigating their way through their newly single life. So, is it an area that you enjoy working in, Nani?
I guess if enjoy is the right word for it, I do enjoy being able to help people go through that part, because there are a lot of things that you have to go through when it comes to separation. And I feel that it's great that I'll be able to help make it easy, at least in one part of it.
Yeah, that's right. So, let's get started, because this is a really popular topic. We actually had a lot of questions come through when we started promoting the topic on Facebook. We've had a lot of questions come through. So thanks to all of you out there who have sent through your questions. We will answer them all today. And like I said, if you have any more questions or comments, put them below in the comment section or send them to amanda@risehigh.com.au. So the first place that I'd like to start is, for someone that's thinking of separating, what's the first step? Like, what should they do? Right at the beginning of that separation process, what are the things that they need to really focus on?
So I guess that if you are thinking of separation, and if you are just starting that sort of journey, number one thing is that you should gather all your legal and financial documents. It is important to know where you stand and where your partner stands financially. Important and legal documents, things like your marriage certificate, your tax returns. If you have done any property sale or purchase, it is important to know and to have copy of all those documents. It's just basically knowing where exactly you are right at that moment. Another thing is that if you currently have a joint account, then you need to go to your bank. You need to advise your bank of what is actually happening. of the change in your upcoming position, and so you should actually open a new bank account, and obviously speak to your company as well so that your income can be redirected to the new account. And just another thing also is sometimes people overlook this. You need to look as to who your beneficiaries are currently on your will, on your superannuation, on your life insurance. Sometimes people forget that part. So it is important to sort of be aware of that. Now, obviously, you will have to come to the point where you have to discuss living arrangement. Are you going to continue to live in the same house? Are you going to have a separation of living arrangement? And all that things you have to sort of discuss. And of course, you should really seek legal advice.
Yeah, so there's a few things there that need to be done, and it can be quite overwhelming, because you're obviously going through the emotional time as well through the breakup. So it's, I think that I know that what a lot of your clients have really loved is just having that hand holding through that process, and that someone to say, okay, well, have you done this, and have you done that, and just really facilitating that process. So don't feel like you have to do this alone. There are people that can help just navigate your way through the process and hold your hand through the process. But obviously, everything that Nani suggested, really valid points. You want to make sure that you know where you stand financially. Yeah. You want to make sure you've got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. And you want to make sure that you're in a strong position moving forward to ensure that it's a win-win situation, or ensure that it's the best possible outcome for everyone involved at the end of the separation process. So that's a really good place to start. So we did have a question that came through the week from someone who wanted to know, do they need to seek legal advice if their separation is amicable? So what are your thoughts on that, Nani? Because you've dealt with both. You've dealt with amicable and non-amicable separation. So what do you see as, being the response to that question?
I think it is important to seek legal advice, only because you never know what may happen in the future. Everything could look fine at the moment, but things could change next week, next month, or 10 years from now. It is important to have a legal arrangement, a binding legal arrangement in place, such as court consent order, which is can be done through lawyers. It is important to have that because the consent order normally sort of clarify the arrangement about financial arrangement, and especially if there are children involved, then they also cover that area. I just think that look, obviously we are not legal, we do not have a legal expertise, so again it is very important to seek legal advice in this area.
I think it's definitely worthwhile because even if you've got a really good relationship with your ex-partner, like you said, you just don't know what's going to happen down the track.
That's
you don't know
correct.
who they might meet, someone new who may have a different view on things.
That's right,
and if it is great if you've got an amicable situation with your ex-partner,
definitely.
because that means that your legal costs should be quite low. Because if you and your ex-partner can, determine roughly between yourselves as to how things will be separated, then the only thing that you really need the lawyer for is to, effectively document that agreement. But that protects both of you in the case that, either of you meet a partner down the track that would interfere with those arrangements. So I think it's a really, really wise thing to just get that legal advice and make sure that the agreement between the two of you is documented in a legal way and is binding on both parties, so that there's not the ability for someone to come back and say, oh, hang on, I actually want more now.
Yes, that's right.
So it can be, it definitely can be
I
of
think,
benefit.
It's better be safe now and be sorry at later date, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question that we had this was another question that came through the week. What should they do about their current debt? Obviously, many people, when they're going through a separation, have an existing home loan, maybe more debt, maybe they've got joint credit cards, car loan facilities. What do they do?
So obviously, as part of your paper gathering, you should have a copy of all the bank statements, so you are aware currently what your debt commitments are. Then you should make an arrangement. So we talked previously about having a separate bank account now, so that I could have my own bank account now, and where my income all comes in, which means that you should make an arrangement to make sure that you actually contribute to half of that commitment.
Yeah.
Make sure that obviously discuss with the partner that this is my share and this is what I'm going to do, and you will have that discussion with your lawyers, I guess, or between yourself if you are very amicable as to separation of that asset and liabilities.
Who's going to manage the repayments?
That's right. Yes, yeah, and who will, if there's a car loan, who will have the car, and is the person going to take that car loan and all that sort of thing.
So what you're saying is that it's really important that you keep making those loan repayments.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So what's the downside of stopping those loan repayments? Or let's say, for example, someone is making their half of the loan repayments, but the other person's not coming to the party and making their half of the loan repayments. What are the ramifications of that?
Well, obviously, when you defaulted on your commitment, there will be impact on your credit history.
Yeah. And could that affect their ability to be able to get a loan or
in
get
the
their
future,
house in the future?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think it is, sometimes it may appear very unfair, especially if the other party decides that they're not going to pay at all, and you feel that you are the one that has to do it. But it is to protect, it is in your own interest to make sure that you continue to make that repayments.
And I guess if you keep proof of that, then if you do have legal advice or legal support, then that will all come out.
Yes.
In the end, it will all sort of even out in terms of the asset distribution, and they will take into consideration if you've had to pay a bigger share of a liability that was a joint expense. So, I think that sometimes we might see people that stop making repayments just to sort of spite the other person, but really it hurts them rather than the other person.
That's
so
right,
it can be
I think it is in your own interest that you make sure, because the debt is attached to your name, so you will be impacted if you stop making payments.
And moving forward, we've done other Facebook Lives on this topic, but credit scoring is so important right now when you're doing a loan application for anything. You really need to protect that credit score, and you really need to protect yourself in terms of how you are presented to the banks when you are looking to borrow money or do anything really in terms of money. So it's really important to protect that credit score.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So who do they need to notify about the separation? Like what government agencies?
Well, if there are children involved especially, then you should definitely notify the Centrelink and the child support agency, because there will be arrangement that need to be made in that regard. So,
And it's often good from a loan application perspective, if there is child support payments agreed on, that it is documented by child support.
Oh, definitely.
Because if we're going to do a loan application for them, and we need that income to take into consideration for their loan application, then the letter from Centrelink confirming the arrangement does go a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, most lenders will want to see a child support agency statement for that, to confirm the arrangement and confirm the amount and so on.
Yeah. Are there any other agencies that they need to, like Centrelink?
Yeah, Centrelink and their child support agency are probably the most important two government agency that should be notified.
Okay. So as part of the separation process, if there is a family home to take into consideration, what should someone do if they decide they want to keep the family home?
Well, obviously, first of all, it's advisable that you speak to a mortgage broker who can help you understand whether or not that is an option for you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you need to understand your income, what sort of, how the loan fits in with your asset, whether or not, even if it's an option.
Yeah.
I would certainly advise to speak to a mortgage broker in regards to that area.
Yeah.
Just to find out whether it's an option.
At what stage in the separation process do you think it's worthwhile speaking to the mortgage broker? Would you say that you can add value, right at the beginning of the process when they're
Yeah, I would certainly say early on.
Yeah.
Because let's say, for example, you and I are separating, and you and I have this discussion, and we both agree that you will keep the house.
Yeah.
And we all agree, and we're all happy. And then you said, okay, now it's time for me to take over the house. You go to the bank, and the bank goes, oh, well, I'm sorry, but you cannot actually keep the house because you are not able to keep the house. So a mortgage broker in the beginning of the time could help you
to work out what the options are.
Yes, work out what your borrowing capacity is, whether or not it is an option for you.
Yeah.
If it's not an option to keep the house, then what other options there are.
And in working out, in going through those options, it can also help to clarify in your own mind, what you'd actually like to do and what it's going to mean to you when you take on that responsibility yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what about if they don't want to keep
the house? Yeah, I was just going to say.
But they want to sell the house.
Yes.
A lot of people find that it's
that
too
some,
hard
yes,
from a memory perspective to keep it. So
it is
what
an
would
emotional
you say
time.
in that sort of situation?
Yeah. Look, it is an emotional time. So, and I understand sometimes that you rather that you don't, keep the house. You want it to walk away. But even then, if you walk away from it and you decided that you wanted to go and buy another place in a few months' time, or you should know what sort of financial position you need to be in to get there.
Yeah.
And by talking to a mortgage broker early on, we could tell you that, let's say, for example, you say, okay, well, we're going to sell the house, and you wanted to negotiate, so you know that you will have sufficient deposit out of the sale of the house, so then you can have enough to buy the next house that you want. We could help you having that information up front.
And it, obviously, like you said, it is an emotional time, and it's probably not the best time to be making decisions about home ownership, but that is a discussion that you need to have, or a decision that you need to make as to where you're going to live and what's going to happen with that house. But when you are making that decision that you want to sell your current house and buy a new house, there are additional costs involved in that, because you need to pay stamp duty on the new house that you buy. So with the same amount of money that you could keep your house, you're probably going to get a house of lower value if you're buying a new house. So sometimes do you think people should rush into this, or is it sometimes good for them to just go on rent out their house and rent somewhere else, just to get through the initial
emotional roller coaster
of what a separation can present at times, to then have an opportunity to really think through their options? What do you see as a good sort of strategy?
I certainly think, look, sometimes, and it has happened, that client comes to me and to talk through about their options. And I think, number one, because we are outside the whole scenario, we can actually give a very objective view, and it will be, this is what you can afford, this is what are your options. So, and then people sort of having those options, they can think about what it is that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you're very right that if within when you transfer title and have a transfer of home ownership due to a separation, you do not actually have to pay stamp duty for that transfer, which in South Australia is 5% of the house value.
And that can be a lot of money.
That's right. If your house
makes a big difference,
definitely,
especially if you don't have a lot in the way of savings.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's
most definitely. I mean, if we are talking about $500,000 home, $25,000 that you are savings in that regard. So it is. And if you make that decision to sell the house today, to buy that same house tomorrow, you actually have to pay
the stamp duty.
And also, I think, especially when there are children involved, sometimes having the same home give them that continuity, that everything else may be changing, but they still have the same bedroom, and they still have the same house, the same school, because they're still within that area.
There's certainly a lot of complex considerations when you're going through this time, and it most definitely isn't an easy time, but I think that if you surround yourself with the right help, and you surround yourself with people that can really hold your hand and help you through the process, then it is going to take away a lot of the stress.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
and help you get through it as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, and I think it's important, as you say, you should be brave enough to seek help.
Yeah, because definitely. So if someone does want to find out their borrowing capacity and does want to, explore what their options are in relation to their house and their other assets, is it a complex process? Like, what does that process involve? And is there a fee involved for that?
There is not a complex process at all. It may be for some, if you have never been used to doing finances, to deal with the finances part of it, but it is just basically a matter of understanding what your income is, what sort of income is available to you, and then look at what sort of debts that you have currently, and then work out what your borrowing capacity is. So it's pretty straightforward. You will certainly be guided.
So they would just work with someone like yourself.
Yes, that's right.
Or
yes,
like another Rise High broker.
Yes.
Just to work out, to navigate through that.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, if just by talking to a broker, we could just tell you, this is what we need from you, and you just have to gather that and then present, and then we work through the options for you.
Yep, excellent. And what about, legal fees can sometimes be quite expensive.
Yes.
Can people borrow money to cover the legal costs if they need to?
Yeah, so look, some lenders will certainly allow you to do that. I have certainly done that where it's depending on house value and so on, but look, we'll guide you through that. You just have to tell us, this is what I need to do, and and work out sometimes if you have to pay the other party, all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's certainly a possibility.
We've got access to a lot of different lending options.
That's right.
Including personal loans and a lot of different loan options that can help to navigate you through whatever needs to happen.
That's right.
Okay. So I think we've covered most of those questions. There is something that I wanted to talk to you about because, Nani's, obviously got a real passion for helping others to rebuild their lives in this area, and that drove you to developing a really great program called the Pathways to Home Ownership program. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Nani?
Well, the Pathway to Home Ownership program is in its infancy stage. The idea came about because I believe that unless you know where you need to get to, sometimes you can't plan for it. Yeah. So the program ideas is to actually help people who wanted to rebuild their life, who wanted to have a home ownership at some stage if they don't currently do, providing them to understanding and information so they can get there. It is currently I just do seminars throughout the year. It's pretty ad hoc at the moment, so hopefully we are going to build into it together with Rise High. Working together, we can sort of do workshops in the coming periods and do that.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I've loved about this is that you've managed to help. The program initially was developed to help newly single women.
Yes, yeah.
Particularly those women who do not have a strong financial understanding, or maybe weren't in a very good relationship, and they are really starting from scratch in terms of rebuilding their financial life, which can be a really hard place to be. So the program's really designed to sort of help them to rebuild their life effectively, and you've had some great success out of it, and there's been some people that have really, it's really changed their life, and I just think that's wonderful.
Yes, I know, and I think for me, sometimes it may take a bit of time to get there, but it's such, I can't describe it I get emotional because sometimes I think it's so great when I be able to say to the client, that's it, you got your consent order, everything is done, the ownership has transferred. It's such a wonderful feeling. And some people have come to me thinking that it's not a possibility at all. And then when I said to them, no, it is possible, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. And I think that's where the program will work towards, is to help as many as possible to get there.
Yeah. Well, that is awesome. I mean, basically, as Nani said, that program's really, like, there's so much more we want to do with it, and we want to expand it further. So watch this space. If you know anyone that you think would be well suited to be part of the program, it is a free program. It's something that we do as we volunteer to do it, so it is, lots of value, and it doesn't cost anything. So if there is anyone out there that you know that you think might benefit from the program, please get in touch with us via our website or via social media, so that we can reach out to them and let them know the dates. We should also have something on our website early in the new year, more about the program, as well as some dates out there for you as well. So I think just to sort of conclude and wrap this up, obviously going through a separation is a very difficult time, and there's a lot of considerations that need to be made, and it's really important to find the right people that can help you through that process and help you to navigate your way through all the complexities that you're going to have to face during that process. So, at Rise High, we'd love to help you. We're very experienced in this area. So if there's anything we can do to help you or anyone that you know in relation to this space, please do get in touch. We would love to help. And also, once again, if you know anyone that can benefit from the Pathways to Home Ownership program, it really is a wonderful program that can change people's lives. So please send them through to us. And as a final wrap up, we've only got one property investment seminar left for the year, which is how to use your superannuation to invest in property. And that is on the, it is on the, I just forgot the date. It's on the 8th of November. Sorry about that. So how to use your superannuation to invest in property on the 8th of November at our office in Prospect. You can register for that. There are limited seating available. So if you want to come along to that, please register quickly on our website, which is risehigh.com.au. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks, Nani, for joining us.
Thank you, Marissa.
I think there was a lot of good value there, and we will look forward to catching you next month for another Rise High Facebook Live episode. Okay, bye.